Hey, good evening. Welcome to Monday night, Airfix and Chill. And we've got 5 in. I have invited a few others, so if they turn up, they'll probably turn up a bit later. After last week's Airfix and Chill, I thought with the news this week of the loss of one of the greats, I will say, heading up Tamiya, I think it's over 50 years, it may even be 60, of their president and CEO. I felt that maybe we should have a good chat about Tamiya tonight. So, yes, it was very, very tragic news. But he lived to a grand old age of 90, I believe.
Yep.
And if I make it to 90, I'll expect some bells and whistles too. It's, you know, I, say what you want about Tamiya in the negatives. The positives will always be that the product you got in your hands was of the highest of qualities. One of the I want to say well thought out when it comes to builds. Instructions, I've always said, could have done with a little bit of an updatement, a little bit of an improvement, but they were very good. And there's no one who has built a scale model that haven't enjoyed the pleasure of putting either a 1 to 48 scale kit or 1 to 35th scale tank. And yes, you can blame Mr. Tamiya for that awful scale. Why 35th and not 32nd? And also their huge presence in the radial control market, which outstrips anything in theory of what they do with the scale model side. That to me was a bit of a detriment to the company, but for the man, I think he has firmly established what a scale model company should be giving to a scale modeler. And condolences all from Airfix and Chill and the family here and those who subscribe, members who watch. Our hearts, our thoughts, our voices go out to the family and to the brand of Tamiya at this time. And in that we give our thanks for a life well lived and for a life impassioned in scale modeling. And the world will be the world has changed because of your vision, sir, and may you rest in peace. Jim, you love Tamiya, don't you?
I have a thing for him.
Yeah,
Here's the question. Making it to 90, I had a hard time with 30, an even harder time with 60, which was last year. Now I just hope to make it to 90. Way to go, Mr. Tamiya.
Well, let's put it like this, Jim. If you and Moss make it to 90, then minstrels will compose odes to your.
I don't know if I want to hear that song or not.
Chocolate buttons in.
And what a day that was when we all learned about Mr. Tamiya, and then a few hours later, the passing of a rock legend, and I sat at my bench playing Aussie, and so many other guys my age are doing the same exact thing right now, So yeah, what a day.
It's been a bad week, really, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah. A lot of things, a lot of guys over here. Yeah. So, but to Maz's original question, I think we all hold Tamiya in kind of a high regard. And like fine wine, I think there's a soft spot in some people's minds for the older stuff. Like I think they talk about the Tamiya, the old original Panther, and how not such a great kit. There's some great English. It doesn't live up to today's standards, but I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it's what it is about that kit, but people will still buy it and still build it. But I mean, I've got quite a few pieces. I think they've been they're fairly prolific for given the fact that they own what Tamiya wanted to produce. And so that, us jet fanatics, well, they did an F-16. Well, why didn't they do the whole family? Why didn't they do a two-seater? Why didn't? Well, because Mr. Tamiya didn't want to at the end of the day, But Maz and I were speaking earlier, and I think that to your point, Maz, yes, their bread and butter, their main thing, it's full control. That brings in, that's number one. That brings in all the money. And their number one concern is satisfying their number one market, which is the home market.
Yeah.
So the model. So we hear talking in England and America and other places around the world, we are infinitesimally small in the whole world of Tamiya itself, I believe, because they cater to their home market, and we just get whatever they happen to want. And if it works out for us, great. If not, So, but yeah, over here, like last week, we were talking about the field of Airfix in the UK. I would say Tamiya is probably up there here in the States as one of. It's nothing to do with us, but very well revered.
Yeah, I understand that. I think they hit the American markets quicker than they did the UK market, to be honest.
Probably.
I'm thinking it must have been late 90s when I first built a Tamiya kit. I'm just going back through my mind. In this country, in the UK, it was mostly Airfix, Revell, Matchbox, Brog. If you went to a truck show and you saw the American lorries there, you would be picking up your AMT, your Monogram. Tamiya wasn't really on the list. And if you talk to people that built Airfix back in the day, you had shops that were in their windows. There was the Airfix kits in the windows. And then you'd have these little pop-up shops that would have the occasional Tamiya Hella in them. And in Bandai was another one. But yeah, it was very much a case of, when they first came on the block, and it was always a tank. It was never a plane. You talk to anyone, and maybe some that you're talking shit, but I'm also saying how I've come across. If you say to somebody, what was your first Tamiya kit? It was a tank or something with tracks. And they've done so much in that space to be brought over here now. And I think once you built a Tamiya, you tend to stick with them for a long time until you felt that you could go back to either an Airfix kit or Revell. And also, I think the good thing about Tamiya is that they were always reasonably priced.
Yeah,
there was always that reasonability in price. I'll go over to Brett because are you a bit of a Tamiya fanboy? Are you somebody that's built Tamiya for years, or?
I've got my first Tamiya kit in the early 80s.
Yeah.
It's very good. They've had some mistakes. The A10 is not a great Tamiya kit, but they sell a lot over here. When I run the hobby shop, we were selling Tamiya every time I get them on the shelf, something new, the F14, the F35.
Yeah.
People wait for those kits.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've built a lot of Tamiya in my life, and I've enjoyed them quite a bit.
Yeah.
The RC part, the two hobby stores in Denver, they've grown their RC department over their scale model department. And Tamiya sells a lot of RC stuff.
Yeah.
I think America's number 2 in RC sales for Tamiya. And it is a big market for them, but it also funds their modeling department, which they keep bringing out. They brought out the new Porsche, and they brought a new tank coming out. So they keep bringing out some new stuff. They don't tend to announce so far in advance. When they announce something, you're going to get it in a couple months.
Yeah.
Another good thing about Tamiya, when they say the new F-35C is coming out, within 2 months you're going to get that kit.
Yep.
Yes.
It's already done and ready to be boxed and sent out. So that's always been something that lots of model builders have enjoyed.
Yeah. Mark's Model Madness. Brilliant comment here. Tamiya are the kings of consistency. Some kits can be an inspiring build, but if you want kits that go together smoothly with very little of adjustments, they are for you. A good step up kit. And I agree with 100% on that. Zinzan, what about you, Rog? Are you have you built many Tamiyas?
Yeah, I mean, I just showed you that Chieftain tank. I
The Mark V.
Yeah, Mark V. Yeah, my
Go
father.
here on the shelf. Go on here on the shelf at this minute.
There you go.
Yeah.
That one's actually partly built and 45 years old.
Mm.
And I was going to buy another Chieftain tank, and then I mentioned it to my father, and he said, "Oh, I got some things here," and that was one of them in a box. And I thought, yeah, but the Chieftain, as I recollect, was the first Tamiya kit I bought, and I was amazed by how good it was.
Yeah.
And how easily it went together, and how good a result you get from it. And it's one of those things that, I mean, there are a few things around. I mean, it's a bit like playing the piano. Certain tunes are easy to play, but they're hard to play really well. But with a Tamiya kit, it's easy to build, and if you've got some skills, you can turn it into something really special.
Yeah.
And it's not that difficult to do, and I think that's a great thing. And I've got the Lawn Dart in my collection down here, and that's that's the one that they built, the Block 50 version. And that the first kit I bought when I came back to modelling about 4 or 5 years ago was a P51D. I always wanted to build one, and I never really got round to it. And having not built a model in 40 odd years or something stupid, I was again so pleased that was that it went together like it did, and it's a byword for consistency as well as quality. And this, I think, has an awful lot to do with the fact that they're in control of all parts of their production process, every bit of it.
Yeah.
So you have ownership all across the line, and I think that's great. And this means that they can produce a quality product consistently, no matter what they do. No wonder they're the biggest in Japan. It's their home market. No wonder they're big in America. It's no wonder, because the more I talk to American modelers, I find that they're a very discerning bunch, and they want something that's of good quality. They like it, and we do over here. So it's not a surprise. So shame to see that Shinsuke Tamiya has passed away.
I don't want to say his name because I know it balls it up, and I want us to be serious.
Someone's going to come in the comments and say, "Now look here, Zinners, you're such an arse. You've said that wrong."
Yeah.
No, look, I mean, it's. I'll merely conclude by saying that we'll see perhaps some changes as time goes by, but not immediately, and who knows what the future will bring. Maybe we'll see some spectacular new things coming from Tamiya, and I genuinely hope that that's the case. I can't see it going south at any point in the near future, quite frankly.
No, I don't. I'm just looking through some of the releases that they've had in the last 5 years. So from 2020 to now, you're talking 34 kits, ranging in scales from the 1 to 35th, 148. The bikes, the Ducati at 112.
Yeah.
They brought out that Ford Mustang in 2020, which people claim is one of the greatest Mustangs out there. In 124th. And they fiddle about with the boats because they did the didn't they do like a Japanese ship in 1700, or was it?
At one time you could get the Tamiya catalog, and I might be exaggerating, probably am, but I remember the catalogs you used to get late 80s, early 90s. You'd go through that thing and it was mostly 35th scale tanks and 700 scale ships. I think they did the whole entire Imperial Japanese Navy in 700 scale.
I think that's right. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
So and then I think airplanes came. They've always done them, but I think they've put their toe more into that water.
I think There's something else to just add to this, which is that I just looked up that Ducati, that 112. It's about 30 quid over here.
Yeah.
Not only is it, Tamiya captured the quality end of the market, but it's affordable.
Mm.
What would you
Yeah.
expect to pay for something of that quality?
And
Probably
fun.
more. I was surprised when I saw that.
Yeah.
Props to them, quite honestly.
Exactly. You can't diss the fact that they set the price and away you go. They don't tend to add to the price. As I think what put pricing up of Tamiya in the earlier part of the 2000s, the 2020s, sorry, in the 20s. I can say in that now, the 20s. Just is the fact that the cost of shipping and the import taxing and and the export taxes have kind of bit in, and though that I have my reservations sometimes when people claim the prices have gone up because of imports and exports of taxes and shipping, when there's big companies out there are able to keep the same price of say, like, I go back to Apple quite a lot because I've been looking into their business practices and stuff. And the iPhone, they still sell an iPhone for £1,000, and that's been the same over the last 5 years. They had that little jump when they brought out the 10, a few years back, but they've been consistent on trying to keep it around that £1,000 price bracket. So there were, I think some of it is a little bit bullshit, but sometimes you look at a Tamiya kit and you think, which was somebody made a comment, wasn't it? Yeah, the £15 Panther, and you can go by that by the Walker Bulldog as well. I think Jadlam are knocking them out for about 12 quid. A 135th tank.
Yeah, they fall together. They absolutely fall together.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I don't understand is we talk about tooling as getting old. They start to lose the crispness. You don't find that in a Tamiya tooling, do you? Whether they use some sort of steel out there that's so rock hard that it doesn't wear. It does make you wonder, with the, they must build a tooling that's going to last and last and last. I know some of the older stuff, like in the 70s, you don't really want to touch. But late 80s onwards, if you get a boxing of it, it's not going to be full of flash.
No, I think they know a little bit about steel over there. I think a quick look at their stalls will probably tell you that.
Yeah. Hey, I see John Alec is in. Nice to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about Tamiya because you enjoy a Tamiya build. Didn't you build their Comet, their latest Comet, or was it?
I did. It was a fantastic kit. But nostalgically, Tamiya was an epiphany for me, in my youth, because I was basically all I built were sort of Monogram and Revell. That was it. Until I got, old enough, I don't know when it was, junior high or middle school or something. I built my first Tamiya kit, and it was just, kind of moment, right? It was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's good that he had such a full and fulfilling life, and I'm going to echo what Zinzan was saying. I do not see them missing a beat. It's going to keep going on. I think the way Asian businesses do business, it's there's a real culture at Tamiya that's not going to change. It's going to keep going.
And you remember he led that company. We were talking. I think he led that company for over 50 years. But we were discussing this at the beginning because I was just saying, with the kits, you look at what they're producing. I always felt that they always favoured the RC model side of it. towards then the scale modeling, their marketing, the way they push out the RC.
Here is everybody buffering.
It's you're the only one that's buffering, John, I think.
Yeah, you're buffering for me, John.
Yeah. Do you want to restart your modem and come back?
Yeah, I think the elastic band's come off, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's about to come up.
I'll go ahead and restart it.
Yeah, do a restart, mate. Do a modem restart.
It seems like it's on.
Yeah. Right, John will. I'll just mute John a minute.
Those gerbils.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me refresh. Sorry.
Okay. I've removed John a minute. He's in the background, so he'll do a refresh. I always felt that they always seem to market the RC side more than they did the scale model side. And I've had me wrist slap saying I don't think that's quite true. But just looking at the releases over the last 5 years, and if you refresh yourself on what they have released, it's they've done the tank, they've done the this year, they've done the French light tank, the R35. They released that Phantom 2, the F4B, which allegedly is a fantastic kit. They've done a few 48s like the Howitzer motor carriage, the M8, the M18 Hellcat in 135th. Then they I think they tested the market with the Lightning, because they were reboxing Tallery modes at the time, and then in 2022 and 2023 they released the F35A in 48 and in 70-second scale. So last year they brought the Leopard 2, the A7V. They also banged out the Comet. And then this year we've got the French light tank, the H39. There's a name for it. I can't think what the name of that tank is. Oh, where are you, James? I need you for that one. So we've got a new tank. The Honda Prelude's coming out this year, or it might even be out now. 124th. So they do release on a regular schedule three kits a year, 4 kits a year. Can I say that? 2020 to now, 34 kits. So that isn't bad, is it? It's not as bad as people make out, or I make out anyway, I should say.
Well, I did wonder, and I suppose we see a lot of shouting and screaming about new Airfix kits, and of course we would, because it's Airfix's home market, and perhaps we see less about Tamiya because it comes through does it come through a distributor into this country? I think it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Tamiya is a hobby company, isn't it? The hobby co.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I mean, their budget for that sort of thing may very well be less, and actually directed below the line rather than above it. That may be the case. So slap on wrist for Zinners. Look at bloody scale mates more, I think. Yeah.
So one of the, going back to Mr. Tamiya, he made a point in one of his last interviews, I think it was, in a blog post, that he was very much into the educational market, that he saw vision, or he saw Tamiya going down that route. Do you think that he was specifically going in regards to that comment, that he was looking at producing models that could be built for children or for the education, so more like how an engine works, how I've got one here which is a kangaroo that's mechanical and it will jump around. Remember, you can build your own drill. They give you all the parts to build. I've got one, bloody good. I did a video on it. I thoroughly enjoyed building it. Does that mean that he was focusing on that, Jim, the educator, or do you think that he was saying we need to produce these scale model kits and RC kits with the focus that they educate them on what these vehicles could do, or what they
I would never pretend to speak or even try and wrap my head around what Tamiya does.
Yeah.
So you can see it in what they were releasing. They may have. I did not see the interview or read the interview.
No.
And if he said that, then I'm sure they were looking at that.
Yeah.
But, you know, you look at it. We tend to over here. I'm sure you guys do over there. It's like, oh, they do this. Oh,
Yeah.
well, certainly they're going to do this and this and then this family and fill out the F-16 family and
yes,
poof, nothing. You know, so you know you just don't know. And now that he's gone, who, you know, guys have been saying that you think it's going to continue on. I hope and pray it continues on. I would hate to see somebody come in and go, yeah, to heck with this model stuff. It's just barely paying the bills or whatever, and we're going to scrap it and go totally RC, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
What so you just mentioned it then, the F-16A, which is a bugbear to a lot of people. And I read it on the forums that, you know, they created a fantastic F-16. Was it the A, wasn't it? The F-16A?
No.
Was it, boy?
The C model.
The C. But people were crying out for an Ava. Is that right? There was a version that they were crying out for.
Well, they were, I mean, when it comes to the F-16 family, it can get, and then you break that down into blocks. Each letter has a block, and it kind of, you know, it's, and a good friend of mine was a crew chief for him, and it gets kind of crazy. But I guess they shot for the middle because that was the biggest percentage of they could do more with that one release than most of the others. But you know, the A's, the early A's, the B's, the two-seaters, the D's, the two-seaters. You had a mix of depending on the engine that was in it. Was it the Pratt & Whitney? Was it the GE? Did you have the normal shock inlet or the big one, or did you have the heavy gear or the light gear, one seat or two? I mean, it's just, they could have had so many releases, you know, and really gone to town on that whole family, that it was just kind of a shame that they just kind of, and even in 32nd, you know, they did the early and the late, I guess, C models in 32nd, and that was that. Am I correct in that, Brett? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, it just would have been, you know, do the A's and then do the early A's with the small tails, and then just go through the whole, I mean, and markings options are just unlimited. But again, you know, Mr. Tamiya did what Mr. Tamiya wanted to do.
Yeah. What's your take on it, Brett? What do you feel that Tamiya missed the beat on a few of these releases that they've done over the years?
They could have gone a lot better. The Mustang, it sold great, and everyone in America was waiting for a street version of the Mustang. They had the basic molds. All they had to do is change the interior, and they would have been fine. And another one was sold great. So they could have done so much with the Mustang. And, you know, the F-16 is always going to bother people. The A-10, it came out in 77, and we thought it was great then.
Yeah.
But as more A-10s came out, we realized how bad that was. And it was one of Tammy's few mistakes.
Yeah.
They redone that and sold, you know, millions of them, especially over here. Because the Gray Wall A-10, the Academy A-10, those C's, they've sold a lot.
Yeah.
So they missed the mark on a few things. I don't know if they could ever really get away from the modeling side, because they've got the paint and they've got the tools and they've got that stuff that doesn't go for RC. You know, they've got the whole line to keep modeling going. So as long as, if they were to get rid of modeling, it would be a long way down the road.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, to be fair, the skill set with ABS is no different to the skill set in styrene, is what Dan put before. You know, if you can mode in ABS, you can mode in styrene. I understand that when it comes to RC, it's very toy-like, but that's part and parcel of it. You know, every boy and his dog had that RC Hornet, and they still have one now. If you've got a friend who wants to get into RC, you wouldn't think twice of spending 60, 70, 80 quid on one of their RC Hornets, would you? Because that's what it is. It's designed, you know, it's bulletproof, you know. And don't get me wrong, I've been reading a lot of the forums the last couple of days when I wasn't going to do anything about Tamiya tonight, and then John and others had poked me and said we need to talk about Tamiya a little bit, and I thought, yeah, maybe we do. And some of the yawns and moans that we have in the scale model side of static models seems to come about in the RC side as well, that or they couldn't do with improving their motors, they couldn't do with improving this. But when you talk about scale modeling from Tamiya and everything that goes under that umbrella, you know, how many of us grab that glass bottle of LP and do a green across the top of your cockpit, and it will just go down lovely with a, you know, you mix it with your Tamiya leveling thinners. You know, they're the standards they have within the plastic shows within the products they produce to help you finish the model as well. And I think that is, and I think if Mr. Tamiya can go to sleep happy, it will be that you know the weathering stuff that they do. And you can look for the catalog. There's everything. You know, how many of us first came across Tamiya extra thin cement? Even though I was using similar product, Me-Pack, in a little called Pulslo, I was using in the railway when, you know, in the middle 80s, which was a liquid cement. It wasn't until Tamiya came and said, look, little drop, you know, capillary action. It changed the game for all of us, didn't it, really?
Oh, I discovered BritFix liquid poly 70 first, which I suppose dates me somewhat, but and it came with that bloody great big brush on it that you could paint the side of a battleship with. But you know, when I came back to the modeling, extra thin was the thing, you know, and very clever bottle as well, because it's hard to tip over.
Yes. Well, yeah, it was the design of it was revolutionary as well. So I was trying to find the glues that we had, that I had before I ended up with Tamiya, but I can't seem to find that bottle that I had. But it was similar. You used to buy it in like this, like a medicine bottle. This is Slater's Meat Pack. This was 80 pence back in the Wings and Wheels models back in the day. It doesn't exist anymore. But you used to get this sort of stuff in a bottle. Get a brush, dip it in, and let the capillary action. But it wasn't until Tamiya brought out the that glue, and it came with a brush. That was the thing, wasn't it? It came with the brush, and it kind of, you know, we realised then that we've been gluing cars, gluing models, I should say, wrong for too long. You know, using that big thick plastics. You know, the old stuff. So, just going through some of the questions. Motor shocks. Yeah, that's it. You can't deny it. The remote. I think everybody. I've never seen this in print, by the way, and I kind of think it's a bit of an urban myth, like the fact they used to use mops and buckets to paint invasion stripes on their planes. That 10% of Tamiya's market is plastic models, and 90% of it is radial control. I've never seen that. Is it an urban myth, or is it just a general thing that gets put out there? And it's because it's been said so many times, we kind of believe it now. Anyone want to take on that?
That's difficult to say, isn't it, without looking at their numbers? And I don't suppose if I wrote to the Tamiya company, they'd say anything other than "Thank you very much, Zinners, go away."
Yeah,
we're not telling you, but it could very well be that their remote control part of their business is the largest, and the market for accessories, like Dan Asher says, is big. And why
it is big?
Yeah. Why is it people want them? And Tamiya recognise that there is a very good profitable market for that.
Yeah.
And you know, in the same way as why do people, you know, garages sell cars? It's a vehicle for service work, which is where they make a great deal of profit. So they sell as many cars as they can because they know people will come back to them, and and so the story goes on. So
Julian Hall said, you know, you could add more accessories to an RC model, I think. And you upgrade it, get better shocks, change the motors, change the tires, and it's
you crash it and you want to rebuild it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I know. I would guess.
RC toys for people with deep pockets. Well, I think that's gone to the wind now because I think it's the drone boys. They're the toys, isn't it? The drone wars, isn't it? Crumbs, what's the DJI now? £700? and you got more chance of breaking that bugger than you would a car.
So Brett will back me up on this one. You can go back to the 70s, and RC planes were where it's at.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, and you walked into the hobby shops, they're all hanging on the ceiling, back in the day. So then it kind of morphed into here comes the RC cars, and who was one of the big players with RC cars? Well, from what I remember, it was Tamiya. The bodies, the kits you could all buy, and then boom, then RC racing took off for 20, 25, probably 30 years until this little toy came along with 4 little blades on it that I remember not 7, 8 years ago. My boss was playing with one around Christmas time in our apparatus bay at the fire station.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is this thing? And he's playing around with it. Fast forward 5 years and, boom, look, talk about taking just a little toy, and that is just blown up in application for aerial surveying, God forbid, war applications, and it's just been crazy. So it's like airplanes, cars, back to airplanes. It's just all what goes around comes around. It's all cyclic.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. What does go around comes around again, and like we said, we're seeing a resurgence in scale modeling. It's come around again, and I remember Champion Scale Modeling did a video, and he dissed. That's a harsh way. He didn't diss. He said if he was going to give somebody a scale model kit as a starter, he would give them a Tamiya kit, because maybe I think it was like a 135th or a 148 plane or 135th tank. And his arguments were absolutely fantastic. I agreed with a lot of it. I disagreed with some of it, in the sense of you were spending out a lot of money to build a particular model. When you could, with a starter set, you would give them a little bit of plastic, some paints, some glue. Not the best glue, which is a bit of a downfall with a lot of the starter sets, is the glue is just too thick. And then you take with a decal sheet and away you go. Within an hour and a half, you could build yourself a Lightning, or you could build yourself even a Hurricane or a Spitfire or even a Tiger One tank. But I think about this question a lot, and I would, if somebody had built a starter set, their next kit, I would say, build a Walker Bulldog, build a build a Panther.
Bulldog.
Walker Bulldog.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was, I think the Airfix 148 Spitfire and Hurricane may be a little bit, just because of the size of the thing, to paint it. But the tank, one color all over. That's all you need is one color. One color for the body and one for the track, and away you go. I would put it down as one that you would give. So, Dan Usher, Scale Electrics is surprisingly expensive. Yeah, I think that's more expensive. A lot of the track stuff is very expensive. But then Tamiya got into that. Not like Scale Electrics, but you would set a track up and then you would build this car that would fly around the track, battery operated, one speed, bouncing off the edges. They got into that market as well. If you actually look at what Tamiya actually does, you're scratching this little surface when it comes to scale modeling. But going back to the question, which I saw, which is a good question, and I think we already know the answer. Will Tamiya still keep making great model kits with the passage of Mr. Tamiya? What do you think, John? Do you think they will continue making good kits? Oh, he's muted, isn't he? Here you go.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why they shouldn't know. For me, Tamiya have always been the company that I would compare other companies to see if it's a good kit or not. Because when you buy a Tamiya kit, you know what to expect when you open a box. It's not always the same with everyone else.
No.
But I think Tamiya have built this reputation, and I don't think as a company they're going to want to lose that.
No. Which then begs the question, why do they release so little? It's because they're trying to get perfect out every time.
Yeah.
They're not forcing out. They haven't got like...
It's interesting because, you know, you've mentioned the fact that they build armor and they build planes and ships, but they also do some of the most fantastic motorbike kits you can ever purchase, and some of the best car models, especially Formula One. I don't think you can beat their Formula One kits.
They're not the easiest to build, though, are they?
No, but none of them are.
Well, I don't know about their big scale Formula One kits. I just have the smaller ones. I have not built one. I've only done a Hasegawa one, but I love their bike kits. I mean, if you want to have some fun and you're primarily a military airplane, tank, ship guy like I am, and you want to go at something from left field, man, they fall together. The details just lovely. I mean, and you can go to town with aftermarket. You'd be shocked at all the aftermarket that you could throw at it if you were so inclined. Top Studio, Studio 27, just to name a few out of Japan. And just, wow. And you do your photography, right? Which I can't. But I've shown pictures to friends. Hey, I built this, and they look at it, and it because it is so big, they're like, wow, is that the real thing? You know, it's just like, no, it's a model. Get out of here. It's all about yay big. And they shake their head. That's how good Tamiya is with their stuff. And a lot of those bikes now, you go for a fortune. You just can't get them anymore for the licensing.
I think that's the licensing has become an issue to them, isn't it? Because that's why they've not released a few of their Formula One cars, isn't it? And not just the licensing, you know, like the Formula One cars back in the day, there was a lot of the cigarette advertisement. You know, things that are now banned. But then I think that was one of the issues that was said, was that, you know, you have to take history on its face value. And back in the day, people smoked. You know, would Peaky Blinders work if Tommy Shelby wasn't smoking as much? Do you know what I mean? It's that era, and we know they did it. You know, I just think it's sad that, you know, that sometimes, I know the advertising. I think advertising a brand that's linked to cigarettes. You don't have to mention the word cigarettes. You could just have the branding on. Just get, you know, I don't know. It's a minefield, no matter, isn't it?
You've only got to look at the civilian-owned aerobatic teams that were going in the 70s. They were all named after a cigarette company.
Yeah,
all of them.
You know, we used to have planes that were windwalkers, and they had the big crunchy label on the top of it, like, you know. Or you've got Red Bull, who you know, every display team has a Red Bull sticker on it somewhere. I mean,
I remember as a kid, right, Moss? I remember, you know, the Pitts S1, the biplane, the Pitts S1. When I was a kid, I thought that was actually called the Rothmans Pitts Special.
Yeah,
because that's, you know.
I'm just trying to think whether Nigel will know. When he built that Lotus from Pocker, did it have JPS logos on it? You know, the Formula One car that he's been building. He's been building that Pocker Lotus, which is the John Player Special livery, the black and the gold. Well, that's cigarettes, isn't it?
Cigarettes.
That was the JPS. Yeah, that was the JPS thing, wasn't it?
They were the lung killers.
Would it take away from, if Tamiya released the Rothmans Formula One car, the Williams Rothmans Formula One car, and they, instead of having the word Rothmans, they changed it to Ruthmans or something like that, would that take away from the build to someone?
if it's a big marking, I would say yes. There's some models out there, and Brett might back me up on this. If you look close enough to get around licensing issues, they'll misspell the word on the tire just by one letter. If it's small enough, they can get away with it. Something big like that, probably not. But what a lot of them do is they'll just omit that the tobacco sponsorship, and then they let the aftermarket companies deal with that. Today, in today's market, I don't think you're going to see any model manufacturers really trying to get they're not going to probably want to be doing old stuff anyway. They want to do new stuff. Well, they're not going to pay F1 fees to do modern stuff. So to go back, I don't think there's that big of a market to go back to the old stuff.
Yeah. See, we've talked about this with Dale at Airfix. There's Formula One cars, and there's with branding on, and you've got to pay to use that branding on your model, and you're like, well, why? Why should we? We're advertising you for fucking free here, and you want us a couple of quid from every model we built? Fuck off. It's
a shame. It's a shame they can't sell the transfer sheet in two separate halves that never actually spells out the word that they need the license for.
Yeah.
So you have to put them together. Here's an interesting thing for you. That's the Lotus Type 79. It's the Tamiya 1/20th scale kit. And you will observe that it's actually got the Olympus logo on it. Okay. This kit itself, the Type 79 from 1978, was built at the time that Lotus was sponsored by John Player Special.
That's right.
Here's your answer. No, they don't keep the JPS logo on it.
No.
They put another logo on and hope no one notices.
Yeah.
So what you got to do.
Yeah. But as I said, if you look through the back catalogue, though, of what they've done, Formula One cars, rally cars.
Yeah. 30 years ago, it would have been a JPS logo.
So here's a question: if they, I don't know how recent that kit came out that Zinzan just put up, because I think I've got the earlier one. But anyway, so let's say Tamiya wants to say, hey, we're going to repop that one. And that is a Lotus, I believe. So do they then have to go to whoever Lotus is today to get the rights to repop that kit? Even though they've got tooling for it, could they come back and say, hey, that's a Lotus product, you can't do that? I don't know.
I don't know how the law works for that, Jim, because they've already sold the kit as it is before in the past.
Right.
Lotus haven't said anything about it.
Right.
So whether the law applies to stuff released now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hang on, Andy Smith's written. So I'm sorry, guys, but this is all a bit much for me. Dare I say woke? What are we being woke about?
Woke?
We're not being woke at all. We're talking about the fact that in the countries, so there's a tobacco ban on advertising tobacco.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Formula One was a huge proponent of advertising the cancer sticks.
It was
and all we're discussing is on, if you look at the back catalogue of what Tamiya have released over the years, one of the things that was always said was they won't release that kit again because you won't be able to get the advertising, or you won't be able to use particular brands. But I don't think that's the issue here. I think it's more on the fact that companies want their tuppence worth for their branding on these models. And that's what we're talking about. Nothing fucking woke about that. Get a grip.
Well, and it's not exclusive just to Formula One racing and advertising. I mean, you gotta, if a model company wants to go do something like that Boeing owes, they got to go pay a license, and you'll see the little sticker license paid to Boeing for this airplane, or so on and so forth, for this car manufacturer.
Companies wanted their brands to be associated with Formula One. It was just about the most powerful piece of advertising you can imagine. Of course,
Yeah.
Let's be honest, then,
and
it
of
was
course
the
they put a lot. Yeah,
it was the
Yeah.
sexiest thing on telly, wasn't it?
correct.
Yeah.
Why do people don't realize is that when they go through a chicane and they got the red and white stripes, haven't they?
Yeah.
That isn't there to help the driver. That's just something that came from when Marlboro were advertising the Grand
Yeah.
Prix, and every corner had that red and white. That was their advertising. And because it's just stuck there as, oh, that's a chicane now, that's why it's red and white. You know what I mean? Even on the track.
But it
You know.
it wasn't just Formula One, was it, Moss? It was all
No.
sport.
All sports.
I mean, you go to look at, for instance, the World Cup, Football World Cup, how many of those adverts around the pitch are non-cigarette or alcohol related?
Yeah.
Not many of them.
No.
They're
You know.
mostly betting sites. They're almost
Yeah.
all betting sites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is what we were discussing. You know, the one of the big debates at the moment was in English football was the fact that you can't advertise smoking, you can't advertise drinking on your shirts, but health-wise damaging, you know, with the cigarettes and all that.
Yeah.
But they were concerned about the fact that Sky TV have their own gambling called Sky Bet.
Yeah.
And the league was then, because they had no money, the closest people who were willing to put advertising into the lower leagues was Sky Bet. So every shirt had Sky Bet on their shirts, you know, and people were getting all a bit upset and tooty about it. I got a friend who's a, you know, goes to Gamblers Anonymous once a month. You know, he won't even, if you do a raffle and he won't buy a ticket because he destroyed his life through gambling on horses, sweepstakes, anything. He was terrible. He lost his house, lost everything. But he can have a pint, or he can get drunk and not think about drinking for another month. You know what I mean? So you've got this sort of going on in advertising. You've got these battles, and I see where it comes from. And the fact is, the biggest thing that we saw was that when Airfix quick builds, I think there are 6+, or 6+, but when they've got a Coca-Cola sticker on them, they've got to be 14 or 18+. Same kit inside, but because the sticker has Coca-Cola on it, they can't sell it to a child under the age of 14 or something like that. It's bizarre. Yeah. But I think you're wrong there, Andy. We're not doing it. We're just speaking out on what we were told that may be a reason why some of the older kits weren't being sold.
So the last comment there. Can you put it back up again?
This one here.
Yeah. He's Andy. You're absolutely correct and spot on. I grew up in the 70s too. Both of my parents were smokers, but man, I loved the JPS because it was black and gold. I had no idea what JPS was. I had no idea that half of these, the only one I did know was a tobacco company was Marlboro because it was an American company. Everything else, I had no idea. It wasn't going to make me want to smoke. Now over there, maybe. I don't know. I don't buy into a lot of advertising anyway that you see a commercial and it's going to make you want to go out and buy something. No. I don't care who sponsors what. It's just I don't know. I don't get advertising and why they think it works and all the money that's spent on advertising. Because none of it I think works at all, especially on me. I guess it works for them.
It's about branding. That's all it is.
It's about branding. That's all we're talking about. And I think that puts off a lot of things that you don't see in scale modeling anyway, not just Tamiya kits. Is the fact they're going to have to pay for the rights to use those things. I think the last Airfix kit that was a Formula One car was the Lewis Hamilton one.
Yeah.
And but that was with Santander, and I think they gave them rights to use that logo because they were using that kit in an advert. If you remember the Lewis Hamilton advert where he had the hands and and they had to build a kit with Santander on it. But I think that's the last thing I can think of that Airfix released with a brand on it. And then the only other thing they released was that Spitfire for Kit Kat when they did that advert, didn't they? have a break in the middle of the instructions. You had a break to eat a Kit Kat.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It even came with a sprue with a Kit Kat in it. That was quite clever. But yeah, John, you can speak up, John. You don't have to put it in the comments. You could say,
No,
about
it's fine because the conversation's going and going, and I don't know if I'm buffering or whatever.
Just jump in, mate. Just jump in. You have full reign.
Yeah,
truck
we love your
commercial.
voice, John. But whatever you like.
We love your voice. As I said, it does make it strange. But going back to Tamiya, anyway, we're going on a bit of a tangent here. Is there a kit that you could build again and again and again? You've done a certain kit. Go on, Jim. What is it?
I always said the best I can hope for out of this life is probably going to a purgatory. And if I get stuck in purgatory building Tamiya F14s and every paint scheme ever done, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I absolutely. And I wasn't a big proponent of it when it came out because I was on the bandwagon with everybody else going, oh, well, the flaps and slats don't drop on the wings. You can only do it one way, and I was huge on it. Then A&K came out with theirs, and then big time shape issues with that one. So I broke down. I built a Tamiya F14, and it was probably one of the best experiences I ever had modeling. Yeah. I've done 3 more. Then their F4B came out, one of my favorite, and it's everything that the F14 is, if not even a little bit better, just because it's a little bit simpler building how it goes together because it's not as complex. But yeah, if you told me the only thing you can build is Tamiya F14s from here to eternity, I'd die a happy man. I absolutely.
And was that the 1/72nd scale mosquito or the 148? Because I thought the 1/72nd scale was a pile of crap, to be honest.
Could be the 132nd too.
I'm going to say,
that's a. I don't have one.
It's a beautiful kit.
Yeah.
I think I want to build one, but just once.
Yeah. Yeah. The 148, because I thought the 1/72nd scale one was dog shit. I was going to talk about what have been your worst experiences of Tamiya kits. It would be that bloody mosquito in 1/72nd, where the on the back of the nacelle, that triangular bit. Could I get I ripped it apart, put it together again. Could I get it to go flat in? I fucking know. Bend. Then I built the Airfix one, and I was blown away by the Airfix one. It was beautiful. Yeah, it was the. I could build the 124 Yaras over and over. Oh, hang on. Yes, Nigel is on form tonight. Richard WL, QQQ. Agreed, Jim. I could easily build that Tamiya F14s for the rest of my life. Sounds like my mate. He builds flankers all the time. He just builds flankers, and we often have a joke about it. We're going to because Avon Scale Model Shows this Sunday at Thornbury. So if anyone's around, I'll be there with the ISCA Scale Model Club. I'll show off the Stalwart while I'm there as well. And he builds flankers, and we'll talk about because this time we've got like an L-shaped display. So we're having a group display. We've got a subject that we're doing. I won't mention it, so you can see it when you get there. But then on the other side, we've got the other table, and somebody asked if the display was going to be on one table, and the president said, "Oh yeah, we'll definitely have enough space there for a few flankers and whatnot on this other table," because that's all Kim builds is flankers. And if you come over to our table and you see his flankers, you'll see why he builds them, because he's built that many. They are the best flankers I've ever seen. And he does everything. He even does the 160 decals on the missiles and the weaponry underneath. There's 160 of them. Once you build all the missiles, there's 160 decals, and he does every single one of them. So yeah,
are all his flankers the same company?
No, he's got. I did the list for him. I think he's done Hobby Boss. He's done. He's done Revels. He's done Hong Kong models. I think he's done as well. I think he's done one of theirs. But yeah, it should be. Moz, what's the next tank I should build? I would go for the Chieftain, you want to build a Tamiya kit, Chieftain Mark V,
Mm.
and if you want a little bit of fun, do the Greyhound, the M8 Tamiya Greyhound. You'll enjoy that one. Have a go at them. So, Moz, I would like a personal tour and inspection of the flankers, please. If you turn up on the day, mate, which I know you will, go and see Kim. He'll hold your hand and he'll show you all of his flankers, definitely. And as I said, I've got pictures of his latest one. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'll put one up actually. I've got where is he on WhatsApp? Where is he? Beautiful. But that's what he builds. I don't know if Tamiya do a flanker, do they?
I don't believe so.
I don't think they do a flanker.
No.
So yeah, it's he's a very, very clever man. So if I just twist him to one side and blow him up, there you go. That's the kind of flankers he builds.
Yeah, that's nice.
Nice, fucking amazing, mate.
I like the splinter camouflage he's got on there. It's lovely.
Yeah, he does a lot of that, a lot of splinter.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about you, Brett? What was your favourite Tamiya kit, and which one would you build again and again and again?
I keep building the 148 P51B over and over again. It's great, it's detailed, nice, it's simple. Now the Edward one has superseded it, but the Tamiya one's just so easy to build.
Does it come with an engine, that one?
No.
No, just the front end, isn't it, on that?
Just the front end.
Yeah.
It's just so simple and comes out so nice, and there's so many decal options you can buy.
Yeah. I think that's it. You know, when you look at the Tamiya, they don't do a lot to their plastic, do they? Once it's done, it's done.
Yep.
The aftermarket guys grab onto it pretty quick because they know it's going to be around for a very long time. So you can get the decals, you can't get the aftermarket, the resin, the photo etch.
Edward makes an engine for it and everything else, so you can really build it up nice.
Yeah. What about you, John Alec? What Tamiya kit have you built that you would build again?
So I think there's three of them. So the it's an old tooling, the Tamiya, the Panzer III
Yeah.
L.
Yeah. Beautiful.
A kit that just absolutely falls together. It's just fantastic. Another one would be that. So when I get asked about like a really solid, sort of not a beginner kit, but let's say somebody's trying to get back into the hobby, or maybe they're a little bit older and they haven't really built a model yet. That's actually the model that I recommend, is that Tamiya Panzer IIIL. The other one would be that Comet was possibly the best tank kit I've ever built. And then the last one would be their cars are just sublime. And so a relatively new tooling is that Mazda. We call it the MX-5. I think you guys, they call it the RF or something like that. But it's the Mazda Roadster, and that kit was just an absolute delight to build. I could build that car over and over again. Yeah.
See, I thought their Gloucester Meteor back in 1996 when I built that, I think about 2004. If I get that kit again, I would build that. It was so lovely. I had some people say there was a lot of warpage on the fuselage when it came. I don't remember that. I just remember it just clicking, and it was just nice. I think that was the one that I would love to see again. And they do a 2.5 ton truck around the same time. I think I built that as well.
Like a GMC Deuce and a Half or something. Yeah.
Something like that, isn't it? Yeah. But then again, you know, the as you said, the Jag Panzer G2, that was a nice kit to build as well. I enjoyed that. That was a good little build back in the day. But what about you, John Parker? What's your kit from Tamiya that you built?
It's interesting because the last Tamiya kit I built was Panzer III, John. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really nice. But for me, it was a long time when I built it. It was the Mitsubishi Zero in 48, and they reckon
That's a bloody good shout.
that kit is the best Zero ever produced.
Yeah,
and I would buy that again if I could find it, but I can't find one.
Yeah.
Which Zero?
The one I built was the 06M2 48 from Tamiya.
148.
Okay, so it's not the old A65M
No,
or M5 or the old one.
it had reviews because I bought it because of the reviews online.
Okay.
They said without a doubt it was the best Zero in any scale,
Okay.
anywhere available.
It was probably a newer one than what the older one I'm thinking of.
The older one isn't. It's all right, but it's not great.
Yeah.
I think the 132nd was that when you're on about the 132nd one.
The 48 one, the one I built.
I'm talking to Jim. Is that
sorry.
the 132nd Zeke? Is that the one you're on about?
No, this is from the 70s.
All right.
Yeah, they did an A6M5, didn't they? In the 70s?
Yeah, I've got the box art in my head, and I thought it was a later.
That was the 1 to 50th scale, wasn't it? It was a weird scale.
Very well been, yeah.
It was a weird scale.
Yeah.
There is.
I enjoy building those. Yeah.
There is a Tamiya kit that people should be made aware of because it's not really a Tamiya kit; it's a Taleri one, and that's their 72nd scale Gripen.
Yeah.
Absolute piece of shit.
The A10, the Sea Harrier, the M109. Well, those two were theirs. I think the M109 Paladin or Paladin was an Italy kit.
I mean, a lot of their bad kits were other people's toolings, weren't they? They're just reboxed.
Why would they do that? That's always
because they have this agreement. Revell, Italeri, I think Bilek was involved in them as well for a while, and Tamiya.
Yeah.
With a Taleri, and they just reboxed everyone else's kits.
Walker Bulldog. Yeah, I enjoyed building mine. That was the first time I used Tamiya Outlaw paints on the rust effects. That Walker Bulldog. That was a couple of years back. And Matthew Southall's just won it for me because he's absolutely fucking spot on. You could build that Tamiya 148 Sea Harrier for eternity, just trying to make it look like a Sea Harrier.
Yeah,
it's so true. You can pick them up for $9.99. There's a reason why. I think the problem is they rushed it out quick, didn't they? Is it like an 80s mold or something? Isn't it?
I think it's a 70s mold.
I was going to say, yeah.
And they rushed it out quick, didn't they? Because even the air vent on the side, you try and get them to fit. Honestly, you got. Honestly, it is a big kind of poo.
The engine inside the kit is too short.
Right.
So that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. It was terrible. But if you want to,
I'll rephrase that. It is terrible because they're still selling it now, aren't they?
Yeah, I said £9.99. I've seen them for under a tenner. It's the only 148 under a tenner, I think. So yeah.
Mind you, they're not doing what Revell are doing, which is selling that 32nd scale Harrier as a new kit.
No.
It's 40 years old.
The Hella one?
No, the one that was originally a Revell tool in 132nd, so the GR1 Harrier, and it's absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I understand that. Go on then, Zinzan, what about you? What's your what's a kit that you've built that you would build again and again?
You've given me a long time to think about this, and I still haven't got. Well, I have got an answer actually. I was thinking, would it be the Chieftain? And I've got one. I haven't got a Walker Bulldog, but I would do that one again. And I mean, I remember doing it as a kid and thinking, God, this is good, and so it was. And you've done one, and the excellent Lord James of To Boldly Go has also done one, and he made a job of it.
I think we built them. It was a Jadlam challenge, I think it was, and we all got one Jadlam for about 12 quid each.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And I think it was, the Interesting Modelling Company, Jonathan Mott, set us the challenge. And we all built one. And I said, I did mine in 3 days. It was like,
that.
Yeah.
Tracks were good, really good.
I'm trying to find my way back into Armour again because I got part of the way through one of these Challenger 2s from Ryfield and then gave up on it, which I shouldn't do, really. It's a bit of a sin. So I got a Tamiya Sherman which is nearly done now, and that was dead simple. And I remember the Chieftain being dead simple, and so it goes on. But yeah, a walkable dog I'd do again. But there's plenty I want to do once. Let's put it like this.
Yeah. The Chaffee is a good kit, and yeah, I think Italeri boxed the Tamiya one. I think it's that way round.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, you know. Churchill Mark 7, sorry. Yeah. I think the Tamiya 132nd Spit Mark 9 is probably one of the best plastic kits ever produced. I think you're right there. I've seen so many people build that 132nd Mark 9. As I said, it's gone then, Nige. Let's have you out on it. The Qatari one or that Tamiya one in 132nd scale. I know the Mark 9 is a Mark 1. I know the two different variants, but when it comes to build and what you get out of it, I'm bored of Mark 1 Spitfires, by the way. They don't appeal to. I got a Qatari one up there. Mark 1, you know, but a Mark 9, Mark 12, Mark 12.
Mark 12 Airfix is a good kit.
Yeah, Mark 12.
When that kit came out, I bought it, and I'm not that big of a Spitfire fan, but when that thing came out, it was just so cool. I bought the kit based just, usually it's subject for me, but man, that thing, magnetic panels and the detail and everything's just like out of the box. You're just like, holy crap. So yeah, that was a must have.
So come in, Nige, which one? The Qatari one? I know it's different marks, but you're going on here about, as I say, if you talk to anyone, a Spitfire, whereas a Mark 1 or a Mark 9, Mark 12, whatever, you tell me. If you want a Mark 9 Tamiya Mark 1, if you want a Mark 9 Tamiya, I'm not saying that, mate. I'm saying if you wanted to build a Spitfire, mate,
pick one.
Which one? Pick one, Nige. Come on.
There can be only
Nigel.
Let's not be diplomatic. Let's not be woke here, by the way. Let's all get diplomatic here.
Don't let Dottie pick it.
Yeah.
I
he's there now, chunnering now. Oh, you bastard, Moz. What, you caught me out here? But I will confess that Mark 9, 132nd scale is glorious. It is absolutely glorious. And then you could say, you know, I've not heard anyone say when they've built the Airfix 124th Mark 9, I'll never build that again. Shit. Everyone I've known who's built it has loved it. So he's gone for 132nd F4 Corsair now, honestly.
Hey. And he's not wrong either.
It's not wrong. Exactly. I remember him saying that in a chat. Yeah, I have recently been looking at mine going,
Yeah.
Corsair's a great kit.
No,
so Nigel's saying if you want a Mark 9 Tamiya, Mark 1 get Qatari, but no doubt surface detail and instructions in the Qatari is far better.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay, I understand that. All right, I'll take that. But he'll come on and we'll rib us for that one, putting him on the spot.
If you go with the Qatari Mark 1 early, you can then take it back to the prototype as well if you want to, because the Mark 1 early, it comes with a 3-bladed propeller and also the Watts 2-bladed wooden propeller as well.
Yes, it does.
So you can take it back right the way to a prototype version if you wish to. So you do have that. You'd have to do
50-54 out of that kit.
You'd have to do some modification, principally on the exhaust stubs, and also on the tail wheel, because the prototype didn't have a tail wheel. But you've got the capability to put in the original non-bulbous canopy, because the kit comes with that. So you could do it if you wanted to.
So it comes with what is basically called the Mark 1 canopy rather than the Mark 1.
Yeah, essentially that. Yeah, and also the early front windscreen, which doesn't have the armored glass panel. So you can get right the way back. And the Mark 1 early, I think, also has the little bit of metal poking up, which was the gun sight, which was a bit rough and ready in those days, of course, you know. So you could go back if you wanted on that one, but they're bloody brilliant kits, those Qatari. I know we're talking about Tamiya, so I'll shut up about Qatari.
No. It's good, because like my next question would be, And because I've been looking, I've been asking people about this week because I've thought about doing this. And one of the criticisms about Tamiya kits is their lack of extras in the box. So when you go to a model show, it's very rarely you will see an out of the box Tamiya tank. They would have added to it. Is that a detriment to Tamiya, or is it just the way, in particular, armor is going for? So, when you build a Tamiya tank, surface detail might be a little bit basic than what you would get on a more in-depth kit like Mini Art, something like that.
Exactly.
And talking price pointing, now the Comet, if I remember rightly, was around 40 quid or $50. I think I'm right in saying that. But there were, even though it was a good kit, you can buy other brands that give you a little bit more money. They give you a little bit more for the money than what you would get on a Tamiya kit. Like, there's no rigging, there's no tarpaulin, there's no sometimes they'll come with extra tracks to put down the side, very few tools. Do you know what I mean? Just to build up the pleasantry. Is that a detriment to Tamiya, or do they make up for that because of ease of build and what you get in the box is what it says on the tin, sort of thing?
I would say that's too general of a statement.
Okay.
Because if you're talking about armor, then I would agree. If you're talking about aircraft, then I'm going to disagree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maj, you said you had the Leopard 2A5.
Yeah.
The one that's in the Ukraine market. Does that have rubber tracks? Rubber band tracks.
It was rubber band track. It was rubber band tracks on that.
Okay.
I think.
So that would lead credence to your argument that I think a lot of your Tamiya tanks, when they come out, I don't know that I've ever seen. I'm not that big of an armor guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think they tend to do link and link tracks. It's just the rubber. You get the rubber band track.
They did on the Comet.
Oh, they did on the Comet.
Yeah.
They were link and link.
And I want to say the Hellcat did not link and link, but they did sections, so you could build the whole section.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the sheriff.
Right. That's the case in the Comet. Thank you for refreshing my memory. So there were straight pieces, but there were individual links for the around the
length and link,
the sprocket and the idler,
But then you look at their aircraft kits, and full engines, full cockpits in 32nd, and magnetic paper thin cowlings that you can almost see through when you hold them up to the light. So it's I don't say companies, but I think there is quite a bit of difference, and I can speak more to the aircraft side of it than the armor side of it, but because I have some of their armor stuff too. It just seems like I don't know if they put more into it or what the deal is.
Yeah.
But
do they need to though? Do they need to put more in their box?
And probably not, because to your point, John, there's probably a lot of aftermarket companies that fill all that for them, and they know that.
I get Tamiya sell kits to a culture, and I think people, because I've said this before tonight, when you buy a Tamiya kit, you know what you're expecting. Yeah. And I don't think they need to mess about with aftermarket parts. There's plenty of other companies out there that can float people's boats, if you know what I mean. Tamiya just build the kit, the basic.
You want the extras, you can go get them.
Yeah.
Whereas you could take one of their aircraft kits and easily build it out of the box and be just as happy.
Yeah.
But isn't that new French tank they're releasing this year? I think me and Nigel were talking about it. We think that kit's coming with rubber band tracks.
Is that the AMX 30?
No, it's the. Let me just find it again. I think because me and Nigel were talking about it, because we thought it looked a bit strange that the tracks didn't look right, and I think we come to the conclusion that they were rubber band ones. Let me just go down through again. 2020. What year was it? Can't see it now. New tool.
In the 70s, their rubber band tracks were terrible, weren't they?
I've got the
They
when was the
did.
Chieftain done? What year was the Chieftain done?
Yeah, but they revamped a lot of the kits with these new vulcanized tracks because the new tracks they use are really good.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
the instructions in the early Chieftains.
The old
1975. This was
that would have had the original silver tracks, but they're black now, aren't they? If you open that box, they'll be black.
These were silver.
The original ones were silver, and they weren't good.
Because I'm just saying that they're rubber band, but they've got
They're
that
silver.
fix.
Yeah, they're the ones that aren't supposed to be so good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But they go together really nice.
The box art sells it. The Tamiya box art. I mean, it's probably my second favorite box art. Second only to all the Hasegawa kits from the 80s with when all the jet kits were coming out. Man, I love that.
Yeah.
Their box art. But I digress.
The other thing I like about Tamiya instructions is they're full of photographs of the real thing.
Some of them are. They're not always.
You don't get that with most other companies, do you? I mean, I'm messing about with a Hasegawa Grant tank here, and there are a couple of pictures in that 70-second scale, but not like a Tamiya.
I think that French light tank, the H39, when we were seeing the builds from Tamiya, because they always have the builds all done. I think they're rubber band tracks. I'm just looking now through here. Display, captured so parts for variant specific wheels, engine deck, copper antenna base, one full figure. Doesn't say on the actual box if it's rubber band tracks or not. But I know
you were saying earlier, Moss, that you weren't sure what company that tank was built by, but basically they had three prefixes H, R, and S, depending on whether they were made by Hotchkiss, Renault, or Sonoma.
Yeah, that's right. The other one, the M36 US tank destroyer. It says here. Now this is what it says. Assembly type tracks have one-piece straight sections. So that's link and length to them, isn't it? You have the one-piece length sections, then you build up around the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the individual links around the sprockets, the rear and front sprocket.
The H36 is link and length as well then. Okay, so they're both link and length. But when we first looked, we thought they looked like a bit rubbery to me. So Tamiya uses a rubber band for modern armor, usually because tank tracks are 50% hidden, if not more, by the side armor. I don't know about that. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, modern tank tracks are under tension, but you'll always get a little bit of sag, don't you, on a track? Because of the weight, they're heavy, I
did a Hobby Boss Panzer 1, which had individual links.
Yeah.
The entire set of tracks, and you can't beat it. It's a lot of faff to get the length built up, but once you get it constructed and you can actually put the sag in between the widths, you can't beat it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm all out for the old link and length. When I see a moddy, when I look at mini art, and which track was it, John? And there was like 4 bits to a section, wasn't it, on that track? Which one was it? Mini art did. I think me and you were discussing it on one of the old Airfix and chills. And basically it was set up, it was 4 parts to each section. And I think it was like about 1,100 parts of this kit, and 600 of them were the tracks. Do you remember which one it was, John, or not?
Was that the Stuart?
Was it the Stuart?
Was it the M3A1?
But yeah, they used 4. It might have been Takum actually.
It had about 75 parts for the engine, didn't it? It was just
but the track itself was just stupid, absolutely stupid.
Good point, Tonka. I do the same thing. If I can get metal track, I'll do it.
Yeah. How expensive is metal track though? Is it like 3 times?
It can get pricey. I paid the last set of track I bought was a Telford, and that was when Frue model sold and somebody else brought them back, bought in and brought the brand back, and they were there full force, which I was happy to see because I needed a couple sets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are an acquired taste, as you say, but man, nothing looks like metal than metal, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I've always said, you know, like I learned a little trick with like rubber band parts is that one of the a lot of people they tend to think join it at the top. If you join it at the top, it'll be hidden. Well, no, join it at the bottom because it won't be seen either because it's going to be on the deck. You know what I mean? And then hide it with shit. So I've always done it.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
I do it.
I staple
A lot of people do it. They put it from the bottom up and they join it there at the worst place possible because you've got everything in the way. No, just do it around underneath the bottom and then just hide it. You know what I mean? I think that was the best advice I was ever given. And it's true.
Weathering.
But we were always told that, weren't we? Just do it at the top, so it's hiding at the top. You won't see
absolutely.
it.
Where you mold them together, where you heat them.
Yeah.
But if you put them at the bottom, you won't see it either. If you think about it, you can hide it under a wheel or hide it.
Put it under a wheel. Right.
Is that a revelation to you? Is it, Jim?
No, okay, again, I'm not that big of an armor modeler, but man, the one thing that pops out at me like a zit on the end of your nose is road wheels that don't touch the track. And if you do that join point, or you've got one extra track or something and they're out of kink, whatever mistake you can see, you can move it up to the top. Yeah. Whereas I still say you can't see it unless you totally bury it and completely cover it in mud, and then the whole tank's going to have to be sat way down in mud because now you're showing weight in a diorama, and it's not. It's going to look like you're trying to hide something if you put a mound of dirt on top of a track that's goofy.
On rubber bands though, they are pretty accurate. So if you do them at the bottom, you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see the join.
Yeah.
Just hide it under a wheel. You're absolutely fine with rubber band.
And the mud.
And the mud.
Do you remember the ones Matchbox did, Moss? Do you remember that Sherman tank you did and you couldn't believe?
Yeah, I thought they were the best. That was the best rubber band track I've ever fitted because it was like an arrow. It went in from the top, clicked, pull it back a little bit. No need for a single bit of glue. It just it was perfect.
Nice.
Why didn't we fucking do that before? We're getting a hot iron or something and burning the side of your finger trying to get the plastic to the rubber to burn. Honestly, it was the best thing I've ever seen. And then from the 1970s, and it's something we've lost. It's like it's gone to that archive where we can't go to the moon anymore because we've lost that technology. That rubber band track
even in the 70s. But
I use CA glue to join rubber band tracks here.
But it's fragile though. It's brittle. That's the problem. It's brittle.
I use a stapler.
Stapler. And I've seen people stitch.
It depends if you've got a side pannier on the side of the tank. If you've got a side pannier, you can staple them and nobody will know any different.
Nice.
Yeah, rubber band. But, there are people I know that prefer rubber band to Lincoln length and vice versa. There's, I'm with the school that if you've got to spend 6 hours putting a track together, it ain't fucking worth it. That's
the fun of it.
It's not the fun of it at all. The fun of it is painting it.
Painting, but you're just going to slap mud on it, so who cares, right?
Who cares? That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but those Tamiya new rubber tracks, they'll take paint and they're no problem whatsoever.
Okay. That was
CCC comment here. I have a phobia about individual links. Spent a day making a KV100 hull, but it was the wrong hull and the turret couldn't fit. I was so angry. I stammered it to bits. Who was that then? Who released the KV100? Probably
what is
many
the KV100? I've never heard of it.
It's that big one, isn't it?
Does he mean the SU100 TD?
Ooh. Let's have a look on scale, mate. It's KV100.
Which was based on a T34 chassis, wasn't it?
Maybe.
The KV1, the KV2, and the KV150.
Yeah.
I don't remember them doing the KV.
I thought, is it KV1000 then?
No, they did a KV 150, and they did a KV
150.
225.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find one on
They're
the kit.
all on the KV1 chassis.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew agreed. And Master Club are the best. In the £30-ish mark, set your model off a treat. Is that the tracks he's on about there, is it? Master Club?
Yes, Master Club.
Yeah, Master Club. Yeah. Yeah, some companies, whoops. Oh, there's the KV100 experimental with a 100mm gun, only 2 built. Is that the one that's down at Bovington? Let me know, so I can remember that. Yeah, some companies go to all that trouble in making the kit really detailed with so many parts that when it finally goes together, the fit's not so well. No, I know it's difficult, isn't it? I totally get where you're coming from. There's so many kits out there that I shy away from just because of the high part count. So, yeah, indeed. Right. Let's have a look here. Right. That's okay. Right. I think we've pretty much done Tamiya to death.
Yeah.
And that's a crap way to say it, actually. I do apologise. But as I said, yeah, I think Tamiya is stapled pretty much in the psyche of most scale modelers.
Yeah.
And, you know, as I said, I don't think there'll be much change. I think Tamiya will do what they do best, and they know their market. And even though we kind of think, we all discussed it, didn't we? We thought, well, why are they releasing a Lightning so late in the game? It's everyone else has done one, but then when you talk to people, it's the best Lightning out there. It's like, again, it's like Apple. They see what other people are doing, and they think we can do better, and then they go out and do it, don't they? So, yeah.
Well,
it's merely a question of applying the same standards to the new kit that they have applied successfully for all these years. And excuse me, sorry about that. Quality stands the test of time.
Yeah, you don't very rarely get a short shot in a Tamiya box, isn't it?
no.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever see a flash of light in the sky up near Columpton direction, I'll know that you've had a short shot in a Tamiya kit.
Tamiya kit.
I'm not likely to see that anytime soon.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. Yeah. Oh, there is other.
That would be as rare as an Airfix 24 scale Bearcat Zin.
Oh, yeah.
You may be right. I'd buy such a thing. I would buy such a thing. No
Ross
question.
would buy 100 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes Bearcats, and we mustn't.
Yeah, he likes Bearcats.
We mustn't diss him for that because it's a very fair piece of aircraft hardware. So
I just think it's underrated. It's underrated, underused. I reckon there's loads of people who are building a Bearcat.
yeah, I think so.
But Airfix won't, just out of spite.
Yeah.
The
So I
right
can
move.
see
Anyone
that.
who's a Blue Hornet fan would definitely buy one, wouldn't they?
Look, listen, Airfix have got to run with the horses. They've got to.
Yeah, they have.
Even Revell have realised that. Look, they were going to produce a Meteor, realise they've done the wrong mark, wrong variant. Now they're going for the 9 because they know they can get more out of that tooling. Let's be honest. What can you do with a Bearcat? 3, 4 different schemes?
French used it as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They're Thailand, French,
Yeah.
There's a lot, there's a couple of, back in the day, there was the yellow bug, the bee, whatever it was called. That was a racer. You could sell them as, but
Blue Hornets.
the Blue Hornets, they had them. The Angels, the Blue Angels had them as well, didn't they?
Sorry, that's who I meant. The Blue Angels. That's who I meant.
Yeah. So yeah, it's If Tamiya did a Bearcat, then I would die a happy man. Yeah. Flash and seams lines, that's a Tamiya 50-year-old kit. They only be used in Vietnam by TG, but they were still Ella. Did you ever explain why you loved the Bearcat so much? When I I watched a documentary when I was younger about the Bearcat, and I saw the Blue Angels doing the display, and when I heard one for the first time, I think that's what it is. If you speak to anyone, it's that noise, isn't it? I think the reason why the Spitfire is more popular than the Hurricane is because the Spitfire sounds like a fucking Spitfire, especially with that Griffin engine in it. Do you know what I mean? That and you listen to the Bearcat, and you ask anyone, even the flyer at Duxford, who flies the American planes, his favorite plane to fly is the Bearcat. It's a beast. It's a phenomenal piece of kit, and it was just so sad that some twat decided to design a jet engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was British.
It was kind of going that way.
But it's the sound. You go on YouTube and listen to that Bearcat. It's just phenomenal. And if you actually look at it, it's beautiful. The curves on it are really good.
Stocky, short, but fast.
Yeah.
But all the whole cat family was. I mean, the Wildcat was stocky with the radial engine, and the Hellcat, and then then you get into the Bearcat, and it's just like, okay, how can we shrink down and make this fighter smaller and more nimble, but with a still big, powerful engine on it?
Yeah.
And it was like, then it sits way up on the main gear, and it's cool.
It just looks the part. Just go and look on YouTube at Bearcats. It will say, I know you have Nige. It's up there. I promise you. It's it's 1/32nd in it, not 1/48. So I've never built a 1/32nd Bearcat before, so this will be a real challenge for me, and I will do it. I promise you, I am going to do it. Formula One should switch to radial engines, and imagine 22 of them passing by. Then again, that's the thing. You go listen to a V12 or a V10, then a V8, then a V6, and you think, why did we lose that noise?
Yeah.
It's like growing up, right? Smells, textures, sounds. It's it sounds bizarre, but it's so true. It's not necessarily what's on in front of you. It's the whole thing, that noise. You go to when you go to a Formula One and you smell the V12, you can smell V12, can't you? It's that rich.
Yeah.
That's missing now because they've gone for this eco stuff, isn't it? It smells of crisp and dry. Do you know what I mean? It's
aren't they?
It's one of them. It's that smell. It's that noise. And
didn't people have to put sound producers on the back of the Formula One racing cars to make them sound like racing cars?
Yeah, so you can actually hear them.
Yeah,
they used to go by with a high-pitched whine, didn't they? And then
there's a clip on. I know they're going back to V8, but it's still not. If you go back to as a clip of Lewis Hamilton doing an interview, and I think it was Alonso was driving his old Benetton or something around.
Yes,
and he goes, "Oh, that sound! They should never got rid of that engine."
Yeah.
Then you'll understand why we love certain things.
Yeah.
Listening to that Tiger 2 at Bovington on the Saturday, that noise, the big wide tracks and the boom, 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 boom. Oh, honestly, it's it woke grunty engines from us. Yeah. So when that, what's she called, that Gunther, whether that go is, what's she called again?
Greta
Thunberg, she's called.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, when she goes to heaven, I'll tell you, there'll be a lot of people there with spanners aiming at her. I tell you.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Left turn.
Yeah. But no, I think there's a place for it. I understand that we have to be ecological to saving the planet. I get that. That all these chemicals and stuff. I don't believe all of it, but I do believe in some of it. But you get on a plane and you fly around the world, you know, in your lifetime, you know, say you fly around the world in a plane, you probably use more fuel in that plane than a Formula One car would do over its whole 10 years of design. You know what I mean? You know, a little bit of something isn't always bad for you, is it? You know, you can enjoy a bar of chocolate. All right, if you eat a lot of chocolate, you'll end up a fat twat. You know, but if you had um, uh, um, one bar of chocolate, you're not going to do yourself a lot of damage, are you? Do you know what I mean? Unless you drink it with Coca-Cola, then you're going to die because that's Coca-Cola for you, isn't it? You know,
Death
so,
by chocolate.
death by chocolate. So,
You know what? I wouldn't mind dying that way.
yeah.
Do you know what they reckon is the biggest contributor to the reduction of the ozone layer?
Don't know.
Cows farting.
Wow.
Well,
They could bottle that.
the methane the methane story is not really well documented, and methane is actually measured in parts per billion, not parts per billion. It's about 1.9 parts per million, and 40% of that is cow farts.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a methane cycle.
Yeah. Do you really think? Do you really think that you know, 40% of 1.9 parts per million is going to make the world end? I mean, seriously, you know, do me a favor. I was going to say. You know.
I had this argument with my wife all the fucking time. You know, there's China there, lit up the whole country like it's a Las Vegas strip. You know, and she expects me to turn that little red light off on the telly. He's going to save the world. Like, you know what I mean? It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
A lot of third world countries, India, North Korea, China, and is it Malaysia, they reckon they produce more toxic gases going into the atmosphere than all the rest of the countries put together.
Yeah, the rest of the world.
But then you got the other argument, whereas we're saying, oh, you can't use oil and you can't use gas and you can't use coal.
So
and unfortunately, the third world developing countries, all they've got is gas, oil. So you're actually keeping them down because
have you seen that video of that oil campaigner who was asked the question, why was she wearing a nylon jumper?
Yeah.
She looked at herself and she went, eh? She just couldn't wait.
Yeah, they don't see how stupid they look. They really don't. And the thing that people don't recognise is that there is no difference between wealth and cheap energy. The two things are absolutely related.
Yeah.
And if you choose to generate your energy with the most expensive means possible that is intermittent, really don't be surprised that your electricity bills are going to be 5 times greater than everybody else's. And that you're going to have to buy electricity from other people and be at their beck and call because you can't generate it because the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine. And oh, by the way, the sun doesn't shine for 12 hours a day, and over here we call that night. You know?
Anyway, we could go down this mountain, this rabbit hole where we could come out the other side, and you know, it's honestly the world is a strange place. But then, like I said, you know,
apologies.
You just wait. I'm just
no apologies needed.
Yeah, it's one of them, lads. We then again, you know, we deal in plastic styrene, and that's not recyclable, allegedly.
Sniff and glue.
You know. Yeah. Anyways, right, we've got 15 minutes. Question answer time. So if you've got a question, put it in the chat. QQQ, please, and we'll answer them the best we can. So if you've got any questions, there was one up here which I saw at first. Something about where was it? I can't see it now. If you ask a question, put it through again, and we'll answer it for you the best we can. I can't find it now. There was a question about where was it? I should have. I need James back really, but he's away for a month. He's coming off. He's coming off live streams for a month, which is fair enough. Yeah, he's having a break from live streams. So I think his mum needs a bit more help in the evening. So I like buying a more basic kit and adding aftermarket as I see fit, as opposed to a premium kit with stuff I'd never use. Oh, see, that opens a can of fucking worms as well, doesn't it? Oh, the thing is, though, when you buy those kits with all those added extras, you put them in the spares box and you'll always use them. So, yeah.
Didn't we talk about this a couple of weeks ago? And I think John, who is a fund of information on this, said that, you know, for example, you can buy kits like the weekend version of the Edward, which has not got very much with it, and then there's a premium version that's got loads of stuff with it. So you've got the choice. If you're an avid scratch builder, then you can absolutely, you know, do yourself to death with it, as it were. No, there you go. I didn't mean to stop that suddenly. Don't
That's
go.
fine. That's fine. Jim Brook writes, congrats to you mods for getting your stolly on the Jadland website and also the email Airfix. I'm on the Airfix email as well, was I? I didn't see that one.
Oh, we are in the presence of greatness.
I didn't see that. I didn't. If you could send me that, Jim, that email, I'll have a look at that. I didn't see that email. There was one today actually from Airfix. I'm going to do a video about it tomorrow. If you are an Airfix club member, for the first time ever, their marketing team have decided, and they've done a really good thing, where if you want to buy an Airfix kit up to 40% off, there's a link. If you're an Airfix club member, you've got to log in, obviously, and kits are 40% off. But when I went on there today and I went and bought a couple of kits, well, I went to buy a couple of kits, I should say. I haven't bought them yet. When I went to checkout, they added the extra 10% you would get as a club member as well. So one of those kits is about 54% off, I think, or 50% off. I think it's the starter set from the Land Rover. It's about 50% off. So, that's good. But yeah, Jim, if you could send me that email, you know my email address, send it to me, mate. I did get your email tonight. I will respond to you about last week's chill. Totally get what you were saying, and that's why we've kind of tried to get back to basics this week. We do understand, we get it, and we are trying to make this more rigid, and hopefully try and make it more open so other people can talk. You know what I mean? So that's it. Question. Anyone other than Moz and I at Thornbury? So the Avon Model Show is on Sunday, August the 3rd. I did have it up here on, where is it to? Yeah, here we go. If I share screen, we'll add the screen. So share screen, IPMS, there you go. So there it is there. If I click this button here. That's the show. We're going to Avon and Lincoln Barnes combined. Modelling and Wargaming show will be held on Sunday the 3rd of August. We go every year. BS3531, so if you want to go there, and it is a fantastic scale model show, and they have a competition there as well. They have all their stores, so yeah, Airfix Modeling Sig will be there. I think Revell are going to be there. Don't quote me on that, but I think Revell will be there because they're always in between. Because it's so big, you're in like about 3 different areas, I think, and I think they're in like one of the foyers. So I think they're going to be there. I'll have to hang on. Let's have a look. Let's look for Revell here. Yeah, Revell's going to be there. 3D Gizmo, our friends from the 3D Gizmo. Yeah, they're going to be there. Mr. Models, I think Brook Models there. I think Brook Models will be there. Antics is going to be there. Revell's there. I don't know about Parabellium. I don't know who they are. Visual Impact Organization. They do those really good display cases. They're quite good. There's another guy who does it as well. Crew Kern Models, our friends from Somerset, they'll be there. Just in case. That's the guy I use for my displays, and they'll be there. I'm just trying to see if EBMA will be there. So if you want to get
great name.
Yeah, they will be there. Who else is going to be there? Model for sale will be there as well. I can't see there if West Country bases are going to be there. No. So if West Country bases will be there, then you can get all your what's it called? All your Brush Magic deluxe material stuff will be there. Alex Moore calling on the way back from Exmouth. Yeah, hopefully see you there, my friend. Simon Richards, what do you guys use for white paint? Acrylic seems to take 15 coats. Oil seems to yellow after a while. Ultimately, prime it with white. 2 coats of primer white. And then I would use Tamiya, LP. And don't mix it 50-50. Mix it more 60-40. Because it is a strong colour anyway. So 60 paint, 40, and then just blend it in if you're using airbrush. Nigel says it's second to Telford. I totally agree with him on that one. Models for Heroes will be there as well, which is good. But there won't be Models for Heroes. It'll be friends of Models for Heroes, I think. It's their friends group that are going to be there. So, yeah, personally, mate, yeah, it's one of the better. I think a lot of the like the West, the Black Country lot come down from Wolverhampton and all that. They come down to this one as well. So
Black Rifle's going to be there.
No, Black Rifle isn't there, but Luke's popping down for the day.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because he's asking me about the competition because there's a competition there as well. £2 to enter on that. So I might put my stalwart in there. So IPMS Avon, one of the better scale model shows out there, definitely. But if you're going along, hit me up. I'll be with the Iska Scale Model Club lot, and if my stalwart isn't there, it'll be up in the competition area. I'm undecided whether to put it in competition yet or not. Undecided. I think they'll take a look at it and go, "Well, that's inaccurate because it's aluminium on the base," and I'll say, "I know it's a prototype, and I'm sticking with that." So it was all pressed steel before they went so early.
I think you should put it in because it looks amazing.
It's all right, isn't it? Ain't too bad.
It looks really good.
I built what's Nigel? Where I do it? What have I done with it? Oh yeah, Nigel gave me this one to do last month. The Vespid Models Jag Panther, 1/72 scale, comes with photo etch. It didn't come up so bad actually. I'm quite happy with it. I've weathered it. Come on, focus. Come on, focus. Come on, focus. Oh, why won't it focus? This camera's shit. Wish it would focus. Honestly, I did this one anyway. It's got a photo etch on it, length and length track. It's all right. It's a good model actually. I enjoyed it. Come on, focus. Focus. Is it not going to focus for me?
Focus, focus, focus.
Focus, focus.
Hocus pocus.
If I go slower, if I push up slow, will that work?
Dude.
I'll do it slowly. Come on. Ah, there you go. So start off back. So yeah, I've done that one this week.
That thing's tiny.
Very nice.
Got it all dirty. Got the camo done on it and
I couldn't
everything.
even glue that together.
It's tiny, mate. Oh, I just broke the right, so it's not glued on. That's why. Comes with a steel barrel if you want, and a 3D print muzzle on the front brake. But yeah, I haven't glued it in. That's why. But yeah, good little build. I enjoyed that. Thank you, Nigel, for sending that to me. I'll remove myself then. Right, so we're come to 5 minutes to. I think we're pretty much done. Yeah, please send me that email, Mr. Brooke. That'd be fantastic. Again, our condolences go to the Tamiya family of the world. And I think allegedly his funeral is going to be in a couple of weeks' time. So
no, he's already been buried, Moss.
He's already been buried, is he?
Yeah, they usually have to be buried within 3 days of dying.
I thought that they were having some sort of ceremony or something.
They're having some sort of announcement ceremony to do with the company and to do with celebrating his life and stuff. But he was buried.
That's right. I didn't mean bury. I meant that. Yeah. That's what I was on about. Yeah.
I think he was buried on Friday.
Wow.
It's the same in China. They have to be buried very quickly after they die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's the best place to be. Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you, Jim, for joining tonight. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, John. And thank you, John Alec, for joining us. We will see you next week here. Any questions, any suggestions for discussion, please feel free to email me in the About section of my channel. Again, have a fantastic scale modeling week, folks, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Take care till the next time.
Bye.
Bye.